Today we're going to do the video that you can, or the combo, sorry, that you can see on the screen right now, and I'll also link it as well so that you can watch the whole thing prior to doing this video if you want to. So this can be quite strong on your shoulder. Please make sure that you are very, very, very warm. We actually have 3 ballerina variations in this combo, so please make sure that your shoulders are warm and don't overdo it. And it goes without saying as well, we're only going to do one side in this video, but please make sure that you do both sides. And again, don't overdo it, just take it easy because it is quite extreme on your shoulder. I would say that this combo really is low intermediate in my opinion, because ideally what we want to do is work up to be able to do this whole combo without touching down. Now, of course, that's building up to that strength. So that doesn't mean that you can't do this combo if you're not quite there yet, or even if you're, higher, we consider yourself higher than low intermediate, because it's still going to be really, really good for finessing and polishing your movements, also for building upper body strength, grip strength, all of those wonderful things that us polars love. So it's definitely worth doing this combo if you can. And then of course, if you want to advance it, you can take the whole combo aerially up the pole as well. So that's a nice way to be able to still learn the combo, but advance it if you want to. And as I said, if you're still building up to this, please still do the combo, but you can touch down as many times as you need to between the spins and then build up to doing the whole combo. So let's get started. We are going to start in a Hollywood spin. And once again, just like I did last time, I'm going to apologize in advance for any names of moves that might be different between studios. Again, I'll demo them so you can be familiar with them before, and hopefully that you are familiar with the spins. We're actually going to start in a Hollywood spin, which I believe is the same spin that we started in last time. And we do want to create a lovely flowing dynamic momentum again, because we want to try to stay on the pole the whole time with the same amount of spin. So that means that we do have to give it quite a nice kick at the start, but not an out of control kick. As always, momentum should always be controlled when we're doing poles. So the more you do spinning pole, the better, the more comfortable you'll feel and the more confident you'll feel with that. But we definitely want to keep our posture, keep poised, keep lifted through our chest and our core engaged, and most importantly, pulling down. So we're pulling down on the pole so that we've got our shoulders and back engaged. And then how far, or how wide, I should say, you kick that leg out away from the pole, that is going to determine how fast you go, because the more you lean out from the pole when you sweep this leg from the floor, that is going to make you go faster. So you really do need to just practice that, play around with that. I would definitely, if you're not used to spinning pole, I would start with less. So I would keep the leg closer in, and then as you get more comfortable, you can start to sweep the leg. We never want to be spinning out of control or spinning so much that we can't hold on to the pole. That's really important. Always stay in control of the movement and build up to the spin. So we're going to sweep this outside leg, we're going to hook our inside leg, and this leg is actually going to come up forward. So that is our first spin. It's just a Hollywood variation. It all really comes from the pull of the shoulder and the hook of this leg. Now in any Hollywood spin, of course, we want to push our hips forward, really, really push your hips forward in this one, because as your leg comes forward, we tend to want to sit our hips back a little bit. So it's really important that you push your hips and thigh into the pole and then extend your leg forward. And as always, when I teach these, we're going to learn how to do it, and while we're learning how to do it, we're going to learn how to make it strong, and then we will talk about finesse and polish, which always comes at the end. So of course we'll do it in this video, but if you're not ready to focus on finesse and polish, you can leave that part out and come back to it later, because it's always something that we do after we feel confident in the moves. So from our Hollywood variation, our outside hand, which is actually just going to lean back behind us or extend back behind us, is going to come into a T-Rex or a forearm press. You have your 2 options with your index finger up the pole, or you can wrap, as long as it's not too tough on your wrist, of course. And then when this hand comes into that T-Rex, the leg that is hooked in your Hollywood spin is going to unhook and come into what we call a Tinkerbell, which I think we did last week as well. So this leg unhooks, Tinkerbell spin, don't overthink the placement of the legs too much there. The shape is this leg stays extended at the back, and then this leg is bent. If you want to, you can bring your toes to your knee, but it really just depends on the shape that you want to make. Really what we want to focus on is more engagement of the shoulders and the upper back and lifting through the chest when we pull into that Tinkerbell spin. So I'll show you what I mean. So you come into your Hollywood here and we extend the leg forward with this arm back. Now we're going to sweep this leg back and bring this hand into Tinkerbell, and as we unhook, we're going to pull down on the pole to lift our shoulders and chest more. So it's beautiful to do that, but more importantly, it's what makes it really strong, so that you're using your muscle engagement to hold the shape rather than trying to just hold on and hang through the shoulders. It's always important that we use our muscles to hold us to you, It's always important to engage your muscles to hold you in the shape as you spin. We've got Hollywood to Tinkerbell, and then we're going to place our feet on the pole in what we call just a D spin. So it's not an inverted D, it's just an upright D, but it could be a pike spin. It can really be whatever you call it. So we still have the same grip, we're not changing our arms, but this is the spin. Now there's lots of variations as to where you can actually put your feet, but for this particular combo, we're just going to place the pole in between our arches of our feet. Just be super careful when you do this. I know I'm probably talking about finesse a little bit too soon, but I do want to point out, just be super careful when you do this that you don't wrap your feet around the pole, because it breaks the line and it's not so pretty. So just be aware of that straight away. The other reason is, of course, it's very bad for your ankles. You don't want to be doing that around the pole. So the first 3 spins. Hollywood, pushing the hips forward, extending this leg forward. Then we sweep the leg back. We unhook, we bring this hand into Tinkerbell. And then from there, we're going to just extend the legs down into that, let's call it a pike spin. When we do that, you want to pull away from the pole with your hips. The way to do that is really just through the abs. Your abs are just pulling you back. So here, chest is lifted. It's not that we want to drop the chest. We don't want to think about it that way from your Tinkerbell. What we want to think about is just you're pulling back through your abs to extend your legs. So you won't have as much extension through your chest, but that's not because you've dropped the chest. It's just a result of changing the position of your spine. Let's go through those 3 spins. Step into your Hollywood, extend your leg and reach back. Now we're going to sweep the leg back, take the hand to T-Rex, unhook, now more engagement through the upper body to lift, chest up, and now into your pike spin. So arches on the pole, pull back through your abs. So there are our first 3 spins. Let's move on. After we do our pike spin, the leg that is at the back of the pole, so the same leg as arm that is up, yeah, it's going to sweep around through, to meet the foot on the other side, basically. That's all it is. It's not like an official spin. It's like a pass-through movement. So this leg sweeps around, meets the other leg, and then it's going to hook. Don't hook it too high, because we're coming into what we call a secretary spin. I think it might be also called a side seat, but it's just this, where your outside leg is on the top. And that's important because for the next spin that we're going into. So at this point, we don't want to put that leg underneath it. We want to put it over the top. And the higher you set this inside leg when you sweep it around to hook it, the higher that is, the harder it is to bring this leg over the top. And I don't necessarily mean it's a good challenge. I mean, it's unnecessarily difficult to do that. So when you hook this leg, just keep it low. A good gauge is just make sure that your knee is below your hip. It's also going to make this next part a little bit easier as well. All right, let's try all of that. So we'll go into our Hollywood. Leg comes forward, reach back. Leg comes back, T-Rex, unhook and lift. Now a little bit more lift through the chest as you pull back through the abs. The leg that's at the back of the pole, just sweep it around and hook in with that inside leg. Outside leg's going to sweep over the top, and then we open up into our secretary spin, what we call secretary. Just make sure with that secretary spin that your hips are going to sit back, because when you do that, the pole grabs the side of the thigh, and that's really where the work is, where the grip is. You're still pulling, of course, your toes up towards your bum, so I do see that a lot here in secretary spins, is that we tend to drop that foot. Really squeeze, sit back a little bit, not down. Soon as you sit down in the move, gravity will get you and pull you down, and it makes the grip on this top hand really difficult. So squeeze and then sit back so that the pole grabs the thigh. Also, when you bring this leg over, we want to try to be squeezing the inner thighs together rather than this. So squeezing in, and the more you lean out away from the pole, the easier it is going to be to take that hand off. Because the more you lean out, the better the balance point, and then you actually don't need that hand anymore. All right, let's try all of that to music so far. Let's give it a try. Reach up, pull down, sweep the outside leg for Hollywood, extend it forward, push the hips forward. Now sweep the leg back, T-Rex, unhook, lift the chest and pull even more. Now pull back through the belly for your pike spin. Sweep the back leg around. Hook that inside leg low. Sweep the outside leg, lean out and reach. Just one thing that I want to mention on that little sweep around, what happens to your T-Rex? Really what we want to do is to be able to control a change of grip at that point. Because in our pike spin, we're here, and then as you sweep this leg around and you come towards the front, you do want to release your T-Rex, because it is very hard to set your secretary spin with the T-Rex. And it's very awkward to do that. As your leg sweeps around, release that T-Rex, but keep the grip, of course, and the pull in your hand here, and then you can hook that leg. As soon as you've hooked that leg, engage and squeeze, and then it will take the load for you and you won't need that hand anymore. Let's just try that part. So we'll go into our pike spin here, pulling down. Now sweep the leg, bring it to the front, and I'm just going to release that T-Rex grip. So I can hook low, squeeze and engage, so it's taking the load for me. And then as this goes over, leaning out and reaching away. Let's keep moving forward. After our secretary spin, when we take this arm out, this is where we really do want to engage even more so. I think I can't obviously say that enough today, this top arm, because we are going to go into a ballerina spin or a ballerina variation. I will go over it now, how to get into it and the variation that we're going to do. But I do want to mention that I have recently released my Ballerina Lesson Pack, which I will link in the description if you really want to learn the ballerina properly with proper technique and how to make it beautiful with all different entries and variations, and also some combos in there as well. So take a look at that, because if you love the ballerina as much as I love the ballerina, then I know that you'll love that lesson pack. Let's keep moving. After we go from our secretary here, this hand is actually going to go behind our back, which is quite awkward from the secretary spin. So what we need to do is actually release that leg back out and then start to push your hips forward so that you can create some space to grab the pole in the split grip. So if you are still kind of new to these moves and you're relatively new to pole, you will most likely want to put your feet down on the ground for this part, because it takes a little while to get just kind of the coordination and the placement, as well, of course, as the strength to do it while you're swapping your legs in the air. I'll try to show you slowly, like spin slowly if I can. So really pulling down through that top hand. So we're in our secretary spin. So this leg comes out and this hand is going to go behind your back while you sweep around and hook that leg for your ballerina. Firstly, your hand needs to be able to find the pole. So as you do that, you really do need to push and squeeze. And then it's going to be the leg that's out off the pole that is going to create the momentum to sweep around the back to hook into your ballerina. All we really need to do at that point is get our hips from this side of the pole around to the back so that we can hook that leg. Let's try that part again together, from the secretary into that ballerina, really focusing on getting that hand in split grip, so index finger, of course, down the pole, giving your hips a push and giving your leg, so your outside leg that's going to come off the top from the secretary is going to sweep around, hips to the back, and hook into that ballerina. Let's give it a try from our secretary spin here. So leg goes out, hand goes behind here, give it a sweep and hook. And when we're in our ballerina spin, we're actually going to turn our torso and bring our leg forward, reaching the arm in the same direction at the same angle as the leg. And that is our beautiful variation that we're doing there. Get into that ballerina, and then we think about turning the torso towards the leg, bringing the knee up, and then extending the leg out. And we just want to reach that arm at the same angle as the leg because it's very beautiful doing it that way, in my opinion. Do you want to do that one more time? I think we should probably do that one more time. Secretary, give it a push, arm goes out, leg extends, hand goes behind here, give it a sweep here, and then turn. We have two more ballerina variations in this combo, and it really is this next ballerina variation that makes this combo more of an intermediate, because this one is, it's not that it's difficult, it's just, well, it's not easy, but the most important thing is that if you do not have the shoulder strength yet or the grip strength in that top hand, then my advice is to leave this one out, because you can definitely hang in your shoulder, which is never, ever, ever okay for your shoulder. If you don't feel in your ballerina like you've got full control over your shoulder and placement, your grip placement, then don't do this next one. Just do another variation with your leg hooked, because we are going to unhook this leg and bend this leg like this so that you're still using your grip point, but you don't have the comfort and the extra grip with this leg hooked. This leg that is forward, which is here, this leg is going to come back behind you, and this leg is going to unhook, and then we're going to look up. So that is ballerina number 2. Basically, the grip on the inner thigh from your hook does not change. Unhook, you're still pushing the thigh into the pole to get that, that grip point. Looking up actually really helps at this point, because it helps you to push back into the pole. I'll show you this way. So from here, you're really pushing back into the pole so that you have all that grip down your back and your shoulders, also in your side here as well. So there's quite a lot of grip, but the most important thing is that you pull down really hard and engage through your shoulders so that your back and shoulders and upper body are holding you there, as well as your core. And then, of course, with your back leg extended, you're squeezing your glutes to lift the leg, unhook, and lots of pull down on the pole. So that's ballerina number 2. Ballerina number 3 is just bending the legs in. I'm not sure if you can see, I'll just turn here. So just from this position here, we're just going to squeeze and wrap this arm around our waist. And that's the whole combo. Let's go through that second half now without music, and then we'll try it to music, and then we'll do the whole thing and talk about finesse as well. All right, so we hook this leg and we bring it over with this arm off. Extend your outside leg, take your hand behind and sweep into ballerina variation, turning into that front leg, that's 1. Sweep the leg back behind you, unhook for 2, and then both legs bend in, wrap the arm around the waist for 3. What I find when I pull in from that second ballerina into that last one with bent knees, I do slip down the pole a little bit, which is fine as long as you're still in control. The reason that happens is just because the It is quite extreme. Sorry, I'll start again. It's quite an extreme position on this shoulder. Again, if any of these positions are too much for you, just change the variation, the ballerina variation. Just do 3 beautiful different leg lines or arm lines with, so that you can still do the combo, but you're not necessarily in those really extreme positions on your shoulder. Let's try that now, just that part from the secretary to music. So let's hook that inside leg and we'll give it a push. Leaning out away from the pole. Outside leg extends. Take your hand behind. Sweep. Turn into that leg. 1. Sweep your leg back behind you. Unhook. 2. And then both legs bend in. Give it a squeeze. And wrap that arm. So just in case I didn't mention, when we come into that third ballerina, if you are doing it, quite extreme on this shoulder, but in order to hold yourself on the pole there, apart from obviously just your arm, make sure that you squeeze your inner thighs into the pole. That will help you to stay on there, and it will take some of the work out of your arm. Not much, but it will help a little bit. Let's talk about how we can finesse this. On our very first spin is, of course, where the finesse starts. We've already talked about the controlled momentum as to how far you're going to lean out from the pole is going to determine how fast you go in your spin. Hooking in, as we extend this leg forward, I think that it's really beautiful to actually lift the knee and extend this way rather than just bringing the leg up like this. Lift the knee and extend always looks beautiful when you unfold the leg. As we take this arm back, if you lift your chest a little bit more and drop your head back, it's quite spectacular as a move. But you also have an option of looking down past your fingertips, which I would definitely suggest if you get dizzy, because looking up always makes you really dizzy. So there are your 2 options in terms of how to use your gaze direction to really finesse that move and make it look beautiful. As the leg goes down to the floor and back, emphasize the down and back. If you just sweep it back behind you, it actually doesn't move with the spin quite as well. So from your Hollywood spin, if you take your leg down and extend and lift back behind you, keeping your legs super straight, of course, with no micro bends, that will actually help with your spin. It'll speed it up a little bit, which at that point we want to do. And then as your leg unhooks, just be really aware that we're not relaxing the foot as we do that. I am definitely overemphasizing there, but you know what I mean. As you unhook, try to keep your ankle and toes long, and that really does apply for the whole combo, ankles long and toes long, particularly in a combo like this. I've really gone on today about the lift through the chest. That's because, as I've mentioned many times, is going to be what is going to engage your upper body, engage your upper back and pull your shoulders down. So very important for the strength of the move, but it's also beautiful for your posture and poise as well. If you just keep lifting through the chest and pulling the shoulders down, it really does create a beautiful posture throughout the whole combo. And then what we really want to work on in this combo is actually holding the spins a little bit longer, because that is going to increase your endurance and increase your strength on the pole. So it's a really nice way to actually build up your strength, because rather than, always doing conditioning, you can do combos like this and try to hold the spin a little bit longer, and that is definitely going to make you stronger and give you more stamina, improve your stamina as well. Hollywood, hold. And then unhook to Tinkerbell, extra little lift and hold. And it's really lovely in your Tinkerbell spin there as well to kind of look up the pole. It looks beautiful. As you sweep around into your pike spin, you can think about changing the direction of your gaze. I like to look down that inside shoulder because I think it looks really pretty, but it's completely up to you what you want to do there. Just make it intentional. So choose somewhere that you want to look and look there. It's not about right or wrong. It's just about making it intentional. As you sweep into your secretary, we want a beautiful soft arm line here. Think about tracing across your collarbone with your fingers and out. And then we sweep into that ballerina, hooking, and then our gaze direction really does actually increase the beauty of the shape here. So we're going to look down our fingertips in the first ballerina. I've already mentioned that we're looking up here. And then for our third one, as the arm wraps, I like looking down my inside shoulder. I just think that it's a beautiful line with the neck there and the jaw as well. So there's some suggestions for gaze direction and arm lines. Of course, I encourage you to play around with them and see what you like, but they are some lovely ones that you can try. All right, let's do it now. We'll do it one more time, and we'll try to add those finesse tips in as well. And start with your Hollywood spin. Extend and lift. Let's go into our Tinkerbell, lift the chest. And pike spin, pull back with the abs. Now sweep around into your secretary. Release the leg, sweep behind, turn into that ballerina one. Arm and leg same angle. Sweep back, look up. And then into ballerina 3, looking down that inside shoulder. And that's it.